Welcome everyone to Begin with Breath Tai Chi. My name is Dr. Adam Potts, the Tai Chi PT, and today is Tai Chi for knee pain. All right, this class is going to be great if you have knee pain or if you just want to prevent it. Make sure you have healthy knees, make sure you have strong and flexible knees. This will really help you with your daily function, and then also I'll give you some tips on how to protect your knees during Tai Chi as well. All right, if you can hear me okay, type in Team Live. If you're here live, if you're on the replay, type in Team Replay, and then click on the like button as well if you do like this class each week. So that'll just send this out to more people. All right, and so today we'll do a 15-minute Tai Chi flow that's designed to really improve knee health. Whether or not you have pain or not, it's gonna really be a great flow. It'll help you feel relaxed, at peace, and really just help you to slow down. So I know in our daily life, sometimes it's really stressful, and so Tai Chi is one of the best antidotes for stress. All right, it's a great way to help manage it. All right, after the flow, I will do a little bit on the Native American flute. So at the end of the flow, you can continue to stand or sit and really just feel the vibrations of the music. It can really help you just really have a great experience. All right, and then after that, I'm gonna show you some the best exercises for knee pain, or just to really make sure you have healthy knees, and then also the best tips while doing your Tai Chi so that your knees can stay healthy. All right, and then also if you're a new member of our community, register for the new member webinar. It's this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The link is in the video description. Just type in webinar if you can't find it. All right, and we'll send you the link. All right, so without further ado, find a place where you can do some mindful movement. All right, so as always, don't worry about getting the movements perfect. Just follow along the best you can. All right, I'll be your mirror image. You can have a seat at any time. All right. And then also I do cue the breathing, but you can always just breathe normal, especially if it stresses you out. So whatever helps you get into the flow, just letting go of perfection, just being here is enough. So just getting in movement. Over time, you'll start to learn the movements in your body. All right, that way you don't have to memorize anything. That way you can really arrive in your body, which also helps reduce stress. All right, so we'll begin with the feet together or as close as you can. The hands can come to the lower abdomen. Just taking a few deep breaths in and out, whichever way feels good for you. Or you can do the belly breath. So as you breathe in, the belly expands. And as you breathe out, the belly returns toward the spine. And during the flow, you can have a seat at any time. You can follow along with your arms and upper body in the seated position if you like. Just being kind to yourself, setting the intention to just be mindful the best you can. Mindful and compassionate to yourself and others. And then on the next inhale, you can hold the breath at the top just for a moment, and then let it out with a big sigh, just letting out tension and stress. Then the hands can float down by the sides. And as you breathe in, the arms float up. They circle in front as you gather in the energy, bring it into the heart. Send it down towards the earth, sinking the chi. Breathing in, gather. Breathing out, directing down. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Just really tuning into the body, just letting go of any considerations, just being here now. One more time, sink the chi. And then step one foot out to the side, either foot. The arms float up in front, just to about shoulder height. The arms float down, the knees and hips soften. Breathing in, rising up. Breathing out, floating down. And as always, you can take as many breaths as you need. We call this opening the door. One more time. This time the arms float out to the sides like you're spreading your wings. The arms float down, The palms face up. They float up the midline of the body, pressing up overhead, and then floating out and down, holding up the sky, opening the shoulders and chest, lengthening the spine, creating space. One more time, holding up the sky. This time the hands float up to the heart. One hand pushes up, the other pushes down, connecting sky and earth. And then switching sides, keeping the spine neutral at first. This time you can do a side bend if you like, just easing in, never forcing it. All right, one more time, connecting sky and earth. And the bottom hand comes up, push to the corner, the other hand pushes behind. Coming back to center, push to the other corner, the dragon spreads its wings. It's a gentle rotation, warming the spine, feeling the flow. One more time. This time the back hand swings around as if it's gliding on the surface of the water. The other hand comes around as the dragon swings its tail, sending little waves out into the distance. One more time, drift across. This time, round out and hug the tree, bring it to center, and then step one foot out a little bit wider. And then from here, the palms face up as we gather the seeds. And then we'll plant the seeds into the earth. The hands come down the center and then softening down, the hands go out to the side. Coming back up to gather some more seeds, and then we'll plant them into the earth. So softening down, just going down as much as you can comfortably, breathing in, breathing out. One more time, planting seeds. And then circle all the way around and hug the tree. Step one foot in a little bit closer. And then from here, the hands draw in towards the heart as you step in. And then step out to the corner as you push forwards in space. Draw the hands back in as you shift back, and then push forward, pushing the mountain. Taking your time, no rush, just being here now. Feeling the sensations in the body. One more time, pushing the mountain. This time the hands draw in, the palms face each other. Then the hands go back out to the corner. They face away from each other and then open, circling out and around, scooping under, back out to the corner, parting the clouds. Breathing in, open, breathing out. All right, one more time. And then step the front foot back in, the hands come back in towards the heart. Shift the weight as you step in, and then step out to the other corner, pushing the mountain. Once again, bringing mindfulness to the body, adjusting as needed, listening to your body. Breathing in, breathing out one more time, pushing the mountain. This time the hands draw in, palms face each other. They go out to the corner, then the palms face away from each other. They open as you circle out and around, scooping under, back out to the corner, parting the clouds. Breathing in, breathing out. All right, one more time. And then step the front foot back in, hug the tree right out in front. From here, both arms drift over to the side and down, and then floating up to shoulder height. Just drifting side to side, nice and easy. And then from here, this hand scoops down and comes right out in front, just to about eye level, and then down. And then once again, same side, just the arms at first. The hand comes out in front, the other one by the hip. Breathing. This time you can lift your leg if you like on the same side as the arm coming up in front, touching down as needed. The rooster stands on one leg. And once again, you can keep your foot down or you can lift it up, always meeting yourself where you're at. You can always go forward from there. All right, one more time on this side. The rooster stands on one leg. And then the arms drift over to the other side, floating up to shoulder height, taking your time. And then this hand scoops down and comes out in front, just to about eye level, and down. And then once again, just the arms. Just taking your time. The other hand by the hip. This time you can lift your leg if you like, touching down as needed, the elbow over the thigh. Stepping down, and you can keep your foot down, just letting go of judgment, bringing curiosity instead. One more time, the rooster stands on one leg. And then circle all the way around and hug the tree right out in front. From here, the arms open wide. The hands float down, the backs of the hands face each other. They float up the midline of the body and then drift out to the sides, the fountain. Breathing in, rising up. Breathing out, letting go. Just letting go as much as you can. Like water floating down like a fountain. It's moving like water, soft but powerful. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more time, the fountain. And then reverse direction with the arms, circle in front, hug the tree. And then from here, the arms open up wide. This hand here drops down and drifts over to the other side. The hands switch positions, and they float across like clouds in the sky. And the hands switch again, wave hands like clouds. Drifting across, nice and soft. Using only what you need. This time the top hand makes a hook. The bottom hand comes up and then floats across the horizon, palm turns out. Circle it around again, single whip. And then this time if you want, you can step the foot in as the hand comes up, and then step out as the hand floats across. All right, one more time, single whip. And then release the hook. The hand drifts over. Wave hands like clouds. Stepping in, taking your time. Letting go. Breathing. This time the top hand makes a hook. Bottom hand comes up and then floats across, palm turns out. Circle it around again, single whip. This time you can step in if you like, and then step out. All right, one more time, single whip. And then release the hook, the hand drifts over, wave hands like clouds, stepping in, drifting across. The hands become clouds, connected with nature, moving with ease, softening the shoulders, softening the neck, softening the face and the eyes. And we'll drift across a few more times like a moving meditation, wave hands like clouds. All right, one more time. And then from here, both hands drift over to the side, they float down, and then drifting side to side, nice and easy, nice and slow, like tall grass in the breeze. Nice gentle sway. And then shift all your weight over to one side and then tap the toes right out in front. Like you're testing out the water. Bring it back in, shift the weight, other side, tap the toes. All right, this time tap the toes. The opposite hand dips down into the sea as you hinge from the hips, keeping the spine long. Other side, step in, shift the weight, tap the toes. Opposite hand dips down into the sea, the needle at the sea bottom. Coming back up, and you don't have to go very low. You can just go down a little bit, gentle stretch, breathing in and breathing out. The other hand by the hip, and then coming down. One more time, the needle at the sea bottom. Very good. Step in and hug the tree. Step one foot out a little bit wider. And then from here, the hands face each other right in front of the heart, and then softening down. The hands brush out to the side, coming all the way up and over, and then down the center line as we plant the tree. Other side, the arms float up, all the way up and over, down the center. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, planting the tree. And then circle the arms in front. This time the hands come together in prayer position in front of the heart as you soften down. Then the fingertips guide the way as they go out to the side and then out to the other direction, scooping around. The dragon pierces through. It's piercing through the clouds and the sky. Going side to side, gentle rotation. And you can keep going side to side, or you can allow the hands to begin to drift up towards the mountain peak. So going a little bit higher, or maybe down low towards the base of the mountain. And then tuning into the body, and then moving in any way that would feel great for you right now, in this moment. So letting the energy guide you, the body's wisdom, the spontaneous dragon. All right, one more time. And then when you're ready, circle around and hug the tree, bring it to center, step one foot in a little bit closer. And then from here, the arms open up wide, the hands float down, the palms face up, one hand on top of the other. Then this hand floats all the way up and over, down the center line of the body. Other side, breathe in as the hand floats up, breathing out, centering. Calming the heart, calming the mind. One more time, centering. This time both hands float all the way up and over just as much as you can. The hands float down to the waist as you soften. Then circle the hands in front, gather in the energy, bring it into the heart to transform into loving kindness and self-compassion. And then down. One more time, opening the heart, rising up, softening down. This time making a diamond shape with the hands in front of the heart, and then press out, sending out all your loving kindness to the world. May all beings be free from suffering. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they live with ease. And then turning your palms to face yourself, the hands come to the heart. May I be kind to myself. May I feel connected with all beings. May I love myself just as I am. Then the hands can float down to the lower abdomen. You can step your feet together or as close as you can. You can close your eyes or keep a soft gaze, letting your body rock and sway ever so gently. Bamboo in the wind. Just feeling the sensations in the body. Feeling the breath. And then bring your attention into your heart, creating an inner smile, expressing gratitude to yourself for being here today. And then if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. The hands can come together in front of the heart. And we can finish with a bow. All right, and so if you like, you can continue to stand there for a few more moments, maybe stepping the feet apart, or you can have a seat for the Native American flute. We'll play a little bit on the flute to really feel the vibrations. Just let them vibrate through your whole being. All right, so just take a moment to really feel into the body. Notice all the sensation or anything that arises. Just noticing it with curiosity. And then I'd love it if you typed in the chat or the comments how you're feeling right now. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the session so far, but stick around if you want to learn some of the best knee exercises, if you have knee pain or you just want to prevent pain in the future. And also I'm going to show you some of the best tips for protecting your knees during Tai Chi. All right, so actually let's start off with the tips. All right, so the first tip I want you to learn about for the knees during Tai Chi is, number one, when we're doing what's called the bow step. All right, so the bow step is when we step into the Tai Chi lunge. All right, so remember the bow step, we have the front leg forward, the back foot's out 45 degrees, the front knee is bent, the back leg is mostly straight. A little bit of bend so that it's not locked out and rigid. So a little bit of softness. We have 60% of the weight on the front leg, 40 on the back. All right, so that's the Tai Chi lunge. All right, now you can make it shorter. You can really make it whichever way would fit your own body and your own condition. All right, so if it's painful when you're too long, then just make it shorter. Or if you're too narrow, maybe make it a little wider and see how that feels. Maybe that makes you feel more stable. That'll allow your body to relax and not tense, which might be causing some of the pain or tension that you don't need. All right, and so that's the bow step. All right, the key to the bow step, besides all that stuff I just said, to protect your knees is you want to keep your knee in the same direction as your toes. All right, so you don't want your knee to cave in. All right, so if you step out into your bow step, so oftentimes I'll say step to the corner, which is if this is 0 degrees, that just means 45. So just step kind of diagonal. So if we step out to the corner, we want to make sure that the knee is in the same alignment as our toe. So if you're stepping out to the corner, we'll say that's the corner this time, and you step out and you're kind of caving in, then that's not good on your knees. So you want to make sure you just take maybe a smaller step and maybe just pay attention at first and then over time it'll become automatic. All right, so you want the knee in line with the toes, so same direction, and you also don't want the knee to go past the toe. All right, so if I were to step out to the side, so sometimes I say step to the side or the corner. All right, it just depends on the movement. So this time I said step to the side, like with single whip, right? So we did single whip, right? That time we stepped to the side. Now, when we step to the side, we don't want the knee to go past the toes, all right? So try to keep the knee up to the toes, basically. All right, you don't want it to go past it if you can help it. All right, it's not going to be the end of the world if you do a little bit more so, but just over time, it just adds a little bit more stress to the joint than what you probably need. And so instead, when you step out, just keep the knee either kind of in between the ankle and toes, so somewhere over the foot, basically, all right? So you don't want it too straight, but you don't want it too bent. All right, and so that's one of the best things you can do with your bow step. Whenever we're doing squatting exercises, the same thing applies, right? So today we did like planting the seeds and planting the tree, all right? So we did all of these, I guess it's a good gardening routine too. So, but basically the same thing is you want a wide stance whenever you're doing a squat. All right, so whenever I say step 1 foot out a little bit wider, it's usually because we're going to do a squat, because that's going to be safer than doing a squat narrow. All right, because if you do a squat narrow, what happens is you tend to put your knees past your toes. All right, and then your back rounds too. So instead, step out a little bit wider, and then you can hinge from the hips, and that way you can send your hips back, and that'll keep your knees in great alignment, so that way you won't go past your toes. And it also keeps your back straight too, so it's good for back issues. All right, so when we do like planting the seeds, we gather the seeds and then we come down like that. All right, so see how my knees weren't forward like that? So instead I send my hips back. All right, this is called the hip hinge. All right, you can just practice the hip hinge. Actually, that's going to be one of our exercises today too. But that's basically how you can do it in the Tai Chi, is try to keep your knees in alignment with your toes, and then don't let them go past your toes, to summarize. All right, so hopefully that helps your knees. And then also with the bow step, you can step shorter, longer, wider, or narrow. All right, so once again, you can bow step, you can do a long bow step, or you can do a short bow step. All right, so sometimes if I don't have a lot of room where I'm at, then I might just do single whip. I just might do a very small bow step. All right, so I still have all the same principles of the bow step. I still have 60% on the front, 40 on the back. Front knee is bent. Back leg is mostly straight. Front leg is facing the direction I'm going. Back foot is 45 degrees. Or sometimes I'm feeling like, oh, I want to get a little bit more stretch in, so I might take a bigger step, and that's okay too. All right, and then usually I like to keep it the same distance wide, but for you, you might step out and you might be like, oh, I'm a little wobbly. So just step the foot out a little bit more and see how that feels. All right, so the knees and then the foot position will really help your knees. All right, so those are some good tips so far for the Tai Chi. All right, so you can just let those kind of sink in. And then what I want to do now, though, is show you what happens if you already have knee pain. And Tai Chi might even you might feel it even when you're doing the Tai Chi. And so that happened to me for a while. Eventually, my legs just got strong enough to where I don't have the pain anymore. And I was doing the exercises that I'll show you now. All right, so the first one is, you can do this one in many different positions. I'll just show you sitting in a chair. So you can go ahead, and if you're not sitting already, you can have a seat. All right, and so you can do this one sitting in the chair. I wanted to show you this one because it's probably the most convenient, because a lot of times people are sitting, right, in a chair. So if you come towards the edge of the chair, all right, so you don't want to be sitting back and kind of like slouching. So come to the edge a little bit so that you can have an upright posture. All right, so this is going to practice being more upright but not rigid. So get as tall as you can and then soften slightly. All right, then you can straighten one leg. All right, and then what you're going to do is you're going to try to press your knee down towards the floor. All right, so you might have to scooch towards the edge of the chair a little bit more, and you're just going to try to straighten the leg and then relax. All right, so basically you want to squeeze the quad muscle. So that's the front of the thighs, the quadriceps muscles. So you want to squeeze those and then hold for 5 seconds and then release. All right? So once again, you can have it straight, a little bit bent. It's actually easier straight, I think. So if you can straighten your leg all the way, then just squeeze the muscle or you can try to push your knee kind of like you're pushing your knee down towards the earth, but don't physically do it. Just use your muscles to squeeze, hold for 5 seconds, and then relax. All right, so squeeze, and then relax. Now, if that bothers you, then once again, bend it a little bit more. It's a little bit harder to get that muscle going if the knee's bent. But anyways, that's the best way to do it. It's a little bit easier on the floor, although some people have trouble with that. So, but we'll just say that you're on your bed, or maybe you can do this on your bed. But what you can do is grab like a small towel roll. All right, I'll just grab this here. All right, so if you do it on the floor, you can actually do it sometimes a little bit easier. All right, so if you're on the floor, you'll bend the knee that you're not going to use, and then you'll place the little towel roll under the knee that you're going to use. All right, and then the same thing, you're just going to push the knee down into the towel roll, 5 seconds, and then soften. All right, so press down. And so this one's a little bit better because you can kind of feel, you kind of have feedback, and you can kind of really get the muscle going a little bit better, I think. Once you get this down, once you kind of feel the muscle, then you can do it sitting even better too, though. But you can, like I said, you can do this on your bed if you can't get up and down off the floor easily, or just do it in the chair the best you can. All right, so you want to do 5 repetitions, holding for 5 seconds each time. All right, what that does is it's called an isometric contraction, meaning we're contracting the muscle without moving the joint much. All right, and so that is going to build the strength, activate the nerves that help to really stabilize the knee, and then also increase blood flow to that area that's maybe painful, and really just, it has this whole kind of intricate pain relieving system that activates when you do an isometric contraction in that way. So it can really just help reduce pain right away, but it's also doing lots of things for healing. So, all right, so that's what you can do if you have some knee pain. Then you can do the knee, we'll just call it the quad squeezes. All right, so the quadriceps, the front, so squeeze the quad. All right, you can technically do it standing too. You can just squeeze and then release. Squeeze, so, but yeah, it's better to start off sitting though, just so you can focus on it. All right, and so the next exercise, what we're gonna do is, a lot of times when you have knee pain, it's actually the hips that are tight that's not allowing your knees to be in good alignment. And so we wanna make sure the hips are flexible and loose, all right? So what you can do is place your hands on your hips and then begin to do a hip circle, all right? Or rotating the pelvis in a circle. All right, so this will start to loosen up the hips, so that way the hips aren't the reason your knee's bothering you. Because honestly, when I was working full-time as a physical therapist, a lot of times if people came in with knee pain, I would start with the hip, and sometimes I wouldn't even get to the knee because it would clear up before we ever got down there. So we'd just start working on the hips, and you can reverse direction, and just do small circles, and then you can make them bigger if you want, but just start off small. All right, but just making sure the hips get some movement in there, and that might help out a lot. All right, so that's the second one. So the first one is the quad squeezes, so squeeze the quad. You're gonna do that once a day, 5 reps. All right, so 5 squeezes, holding for 5 seconds each time. If it gets sore at all, then maybe stop. Like I said, bend the knee a little more maybe, or maybe this one isn't for you. As with all these exercises, it's not gonna help 100% everyone, so always check with your primary healthcare provider first, but this usually helps about 80% of people, I would say, maybe even 90. So, all right, so quad squeezes for pain, then to make sure you keep your knees healthy, make sure the hips are loose, and now we'll do the mini squat, and this will help train your hips and your knees to work together very nicely. All right, so all in harmony. All right, so spread the feet a little bit wider apart. All right, so shoulder width or even a little bit wider is okay. All right, and then I'll show you from the side, because the mini squat, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hinge from the hips, sending the hips back. All right, remember, we wanna try to keep the knees over the feet. We don't want them to go past the toes. All right, and you can hold your hands up for support and squeeze the butt as you come up too for extra points. So that'll help to strengthen the glutes, which actually helps to realign the knee. All right, so once again, the hips are usually involved with knee issues. Most of the time, actually, I found that most of the time it's the source, is that the hips aren't working right, so the knee pays the price. All right, but you can do 5 to 10 of those, squeezing at the top. that's going to activate all the muscles and get them working better. All right, so work on those ones. Those ones the mini squats you could probably do every day, maybe take a day or two off. So that one's going to be really good. It's more just getting those muscles working better. Yeah, and I think that'll really help. All right, those exercises helpful. I'll write them down too. I'll put those exercises in the video description. All right, so they're not there right now, but I'll post them after this, and so that way you can refer back to this class and you can go to the video description. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions at all about knee issues or anything we talked about today. Or if you just wanted to share your experience, of course, I always love that. I do have a quote actually, I have a poem for you today, too. So stick around for a few more if you can, and we'll finish with a poem from Lao Tzu, who is known as the author of the Tao Te Ching. And so Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power." All right, well, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Once again, let me know how you're feeling. I'd love to hear about your experience. All right, and if there's any other classes you'd like to see, I'm making a list. So if you want a specific thing that we cover in our class, then we can potentially have it as a future class. All right, and then I'll answer any questions you have too. So feel free to type those in. I'll go over all the comments over the next few days. All right, well, thank you all so much. Oh, and by the way, I'm really excited. Today we have our teacher training, level 1, the crane, starting. So our live session number 1 is today. So thank you all for all those that are participating. All right, if not, you can always do the next one if you didn't make it through this cohort. We'll be having the teacher training again, probably next year. So right now the plan is at least probably once a year, and then maybe more if as we grow. But yeah, right now we have our first classes today, so I'm really excited. So thank you all so much. And once again, if you're new to our community, please register for the new member webinar. It's this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. It's via Zoom, so register with the link in the video description for free. All right, if you can't find it, just type webinar in the chat or comments, and we'll send you the link. All right, thanks again, and until we meet again, I wish you peace, happiness, and harmony. Thank you.